Excuse me. All right. Hi, everybody. We're going to start with the contemporary era now. This is what we did the last quarter three, pretty much, from 1914 to the present. Big things going on here. You got the World Wars, global depression, mandate system, Treaty of Versailles, proxy wars, Cold War, economic globalization, decolonization, pan movements, all that good stuff. All right. So let's get into it. All right, this is the page on the big concept of global conflict. So under global conflict, you're going to see the world wars, all the decolonization, the Cold War, and the proxy wars, and the pan movements, and all those kind of things, okay? So I'm going to give you an overview. I'm going to spend a little less time on this since we went over this most recently, and I don't want to have a huge, long video for you. But let me just go over a few of the big things. So, excuse me. So here we see kind of the collapse of empire. Starting after World War I in 1914. Empires like the Ottoman, Russian empires, Qing dynasty of China, like they all fall right as World War I starts, which is 1914 to 1918. That's the World War I time frame. So again, Qing, Ottoman, Russian, these land-based empires that have been around for the early modern and even the post-classical era, they fall in this modern era. In the modern era, they fall due to a lot of factors. Okay, they get too big, they weaken, they don't industrialize, they can't last, and they get taken over by Europeans essentially. So that's one thing. Sorry, wrong page. So sorry guys. So the other thing that happens is you start to see like Europeans again dominating the global political order now. Like by this time period, Europeans are large and in charge, right? As they were in the modern era. So new states emerge at this point. Even though Europeans still in control, you do have the process of decolonization, right? Which happens after World War II. And remember, there are some colonies of England specifically that were able to negotiate their own independence, like India, as well as Ghana, which was known as the Gold Coast of West Africa. Other countries got their independence by through decolonization, but in a violent fashion. So remember, Algeria had a really violent struggle for independence against the French, who were imperializing them for a long time. So you do see imperialism at this point, but decolonization movements begin after World War I and officially after World War II. That's when colonization really is over. Nationalism, major continuity here between the modern era and the contemporary era. Nationalism, remember, begins with the Enlightenment and the Atlantic Revolutions, and it really, really fosters nationalism in this contemporary era. Remember, there's nationalism, again, kind of going hand in hand with decolonization. So Indian National Congress is one great example. Kwame Nkrumah, a nationalist leader. There's nationalism and pan movements all throughout Africa, the Middle East, with Nasser, the Egyptian leader, who is a Egyptian nationalist. The creation of Israel and Zionism, which is pride in being Israeli or Jewish, are all nationalist movements. Nationalism peaks mostly in Africa, though, after World War II, with leaders like Nkrumah in the African National Congress, all the way into the 1990s with apartheid, the end of apartheid, and Nelson Mandela in South Africa. Other leaders, specifically in India, there is a nationalist movement attached to religious motivations. So with India after World War II, remember there was the partition of India with the Muslim League led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Gandhi, the Hindu leader of India. They could not come to a peaceful agreement, and so they changed the boundaries of India. A new state of Pakistan was created, and it was really a sense of religious nationalism on the part of Jinnah, who wanted a new state for the Muslims of India. I'm going to pause it here for a second. So far, major concepts that I've discussed so far for you, what are they? Think to yourself. Okay, there's other types of movements that are considered anti-imperialism. Remember Pan-Africanism, Pan-Arabism. are two big ones. But also this idea, remember, communism really rises here in the contemporary era. Communism does have its roots in back with the Industrial Revolution, as immediately a response to industrialization, since socialists and communists feel like the Industrial Revolution created this working class that was exploited by the factory owners. But communism gets more popular, especially after the Great Depression, when all the capitalist countries are really struggling with the global depression. The United States, Western Europe, etc., really struggle. The communism seems like a good alternative. And so that is a challenge to the existing political order of capitalism, and it's because of the global depression. Socialism or communism also spreads to Latin America after the global depression, or beginning during the 1930s, again for the same reason. It seems like an attractive, like for the people type of movement that allows freedom and independence for people in Latin America. Remember, people in Latin America were still kind of ruled and kind of dominated by the United States through economic imperialism. So this alternative to capitalism is appealing in Latin America.